Parents and guardians, it's time once again for the Fearless Parenting Show.
Well, welcome to another episode of Fearlessly Parenting. Today I have Lacey C Clark. And you can't see her name like I see her name. You know, she's got an exclamation point after Clark. And she says, hey, Stan, that's how I write my name every time, every place. And she has a purpose and a reason for doing that. And she'll go into that a little bit later. But hey, help me welcome, without further ado, Lacey C Clark. Lacey, how you doing today?
Hey, Stan. Hello. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on your show.
Hey, I appreciate you being here because I want to talk to you about daughters. Now, I know it may seem strange to some of you guys out there. You know, you're a man. Why you want to talk about it? Because, hey, that's my baby. I have a baby. Even though she's 22 right now, she'll always be daddy's baby.
Sure.
But it's important for the dads as well as the moms to know more about how to help daughters, how to be there for their daughters, as well as being there for their sons. Both are important. But today we're going to place an emphasis on the daughter, particularly when it comes to them going to college, being successful in college, and then how to prepare socially and emotionally for that. And Lacey, when I looked at your bio, your media kit, these things stuck out to me. And I feel that my parents would be very much interested to know how can they help their girls, their daughters, their young ladies navigate the college experience and how to do so and have their life be a successful one.
Awesome question. Thank you for having me once again. Okay, so loaded question. So a lot of our young women, so we have to look at college as a transition, right?
Mhm.
We look at, the leaving the comfort of home and all the things that, you've taught her as a parent, and the things that you want her to know and the type of hopefully woman you want her to be. But then immediately when she leaves your home, she is actually out there, literally. She's literally out there or in there, if you will, in college. And so, or on the university's campus. And so all of those things that you taught her will be tested. Right. But I know a lot of times before we get to the point where we're actually dealing with college, we talk about the SATs and the FAFSAs and all the other things that we do to prepare our young people to transition into this academic, new world. But what's left out often is the social and emotional prep. And so that social and emotional prep is critical because it can actually affect, as you know, the course of their lives. I've
Oh,
had
absolutely.
so many stories on social media and people that I've known who have been destroyed by college experiences.
Really?
And what I mean by destroyed is you have young women who go to college. Of course, you know that sexual assault is a major issue in college. 1 in 4 girls on college campuses are sexually assaulted. And you have people talking about, college date rape, right? You're talking about people going to colleges and the parties and the party scene and dealing with the party scene and actually being assaulted in the party scene. So all of these conversations don't really happen enough, in my opinion, about how this young woman going into this new experience can actually navigate her experience with wellness, peace, success, and wisdom. And so I think that this phenomenally used system really, really helps to help them get clarity around that.
Well, Lacey, now, I can't come at it from uh, having been a woman. I come from being a man, but when I went to college, I I played around. I did not take it seriously. I had a good Christian home, left, went to college, and just really messed up for about 2.5 years. Now, I didn't do anything criminally or anything, but I got involved in the party scene, and the party scene was more important than what I was
Academic.
there for, getting that
Absolutely.
college education.
Absolutely. It happens a lot.
And
Mhm.
so what you're saying is it's the same thing happens to young ladies.
Absolutely. And in a way, that can destroy them for a lifetime. So what I mean by that, I mean, I've heard many, many stories about young women saying they got involved in a situation that really broke them emotionally. And I look at the context of what happened, and in my mind, I'm thinking if they knew that they could have sober fun. That's one of the lessons
Mhm.
in one of the lessons in Phenomenally You. If they knew that they could have sober fun and that their whole life didn't need to be centered around alcohol, right? If they knew that,
Absolutely.
how many things can be prevented? Now, I'm not saying that they don't have the freedom to choose what they want to do when they're evolving and growing. But I think that what's happening is that people think that the default is I go to college, I play around for, like you said, 2 years, a year, I do what I want, I get loose, I whatever, and not think about how that experience can actually affect the rest of your life. What if you drop out? What if you have a severe depression? You feel what
Mhm.
I'm saying? These are things that are happening in college campuses. There's a study by USA Today that talks about, excuse me, that talked about there was a study conducted and found that women during their freshman year, and then the study was also after graduation, showed a drop in confidence despite reports of high academic achievement. So you have women who actually go in college, kind of like, okay, I'm excited for this new experience, and then something happens along the way, and then they come out with less confidence or inspiration than they had when they went in, and that's by USA Today. And so I think knowing these things and knowing that you can actually help prepare them to know that this happens will help to fortify them to be socially and emotionally prepared.
So let me ask you, Lacey, let's say I'm sitting down in front of my college age daughter or any dad or mom out there sitting down in front of a daughter that's about to go into college. What should we be talking to them about, and how soon before they go to college should we start the conversation?
Great question. And so I think, college preparation for a lot of people starts ninth grade, right? They start thinking about the trajectory they're going to have. You know what I mean? Am I studying for, SATs and what my SAT scores are going to
Mhm.
be, blah, blah, blah. That whole concept.
Honor
So for
society.
me,
Mhm.
and so for me, I think that this process starts as early as ninth, 10th grade, because I think you need to start talking about the mindset you need to have to start navigating their own world with wisdom. But they won't be able to test that until they get out of the home. Because again, the home is the safety place, or the home is the place that rears and engages them. So I have the system that I have is an 8S system. So it's simple in terms of the S's. But I think that some of the things, just to kind of give you a snippet of some of the things that you should talk about is, again, dealing with safety. That's the major piece, like dealing with safety, specifically for a young woman. How does she navigate new relationships, romantic relationships? Is she choosing the right partner? How to choose the right partner? When do you know when your partner is not being safe and protective and healthy for you? How to step away from that individual. Again, so many young women, not only do they go to school and they actually have violent things could possibly happen to them, but of course, pregnancy and things of that kind of thing. So you can get derailed in that
Mhm.
way. Are you taking precautions to stay on the course that you want to have? So I would say safety and understanding how to navigate those relationships is really important. Another one I talk about is self-respect.
Mm.
Self-respect is so major. It's so
Absolutely.
major. So major.
You
Do you
can't
know?
respect yourself, you can't respect anybody else.
Say it again, right?
If you can't respect yourself, you can't respect anyone else.
Search, right? So self-respect is major, and that's one of the S's. And I talk about, do you know how to create boundaries? You know what I mean? Do you know how to, you know, use your voice to be able to create distance between things that are unhealthy for you? I think, again, when you're going into this new experience, you are a young woman just leaving high school, meeting new people, trying to make friends, trying to fit in. Do you know how to fit in a healthy way? Do you know how to say, this crowd is not for me? Then I talk about, what are your values? What are your
Mm.
values? So your parents came to you with certain values, right? And what do you stand on? What are your principles? So when someone comes to you in a certain environment, are you going to say that's not for me and be okay with that within your spirit, or are you going to feel guilty or peer pressured, etc. So how do you navigate all these things with self-respect? And I'll share one more. I mean, there's 8, but I'll share one more. The other one I'll talk about, of course, is huge right now. Of course, as we know, social media. That's one of the S's.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Huge, right? And people aren't realizing that people are tracking social media. Not only from a government perspective, but also from academic perspective, from a social perspective, from the school.
Employment perspective.
Exactly. So people are watching you. So what you put on social media definitely defines that they want to actually work with you or not, or have you as a student or not, or have you as an intern or not. So all of those things, it really helps the young woman to really process through the package of what does it mean to be a phenomenal young woman as I enter into my college experience. Not just an academic, a person that shines academically, but how do I be a whole person that actually is walking through college and life with success?
Thank you, Lacey. As you can see, Lacey is a very bright and intelligent young lady with a passion to help her younger peers become phenomenal in all that they do. You'll find a link to her phenomenally used system in the podcast description for this episode. So please check it out. And join me and Lacey for part 2 of our 2-part interview where Lacey will continue to discuss her book, Phenomenally You, A Young Woman's Guide to Being Safe, Smart, and Successful in College. And as I always say, go forth and fearlessly parent. God bless.